Hi, I'm Dr. Yami, and welcome to VeggieFitKids.com. So today's question is, I get that protein isn't really an issue, but what about iron? That's a great question. Iron deficiency is the most common nutritional deficiency in the world, affecting over 2 billion people. However, contrary to popular belief, people who don't eat meat, such as vegetarians and vegans, are no more likely to suffer from iron deficiency than people who do eat meat, the omnivores. And the good news is that if you are a healthy person free of chronic disease and you're eating a well-rounded vegetarian or vegan diet, you likely are consuming and absorbing sufficient iron. So what is iron? Iron is an essential nutrient that is needed to form hemoglobin, and hemoglobin is what carries oxygen to all the parts of your body. Whenever your iron level gets too low, you may develop something called iron deficiency anemia. There are two forms of iron: heme iron, that comes from the blood of animals, and non-heme iron, that comes from plants. Although heme iron is better absorbed by the body, non-heme iron is more plentiful and what I believe to be a healthier source of iron. The highest sources of iron in a plant-based diet are beans and leafy greens, such as soybeans, lentils, chickpeas, spinach, and Swiss chard. But on a per calorie basis, plants are actually a much better source of iron. Did you know that there is the same amount of iron in 100 calories of spinach versus 1,700 calories of sirloin steak? The absorption of iron is increased up to 6 times by consuming your iron-rich food with some vitamin C. This is pretty easy as most plant foods also contain vitamin C, such as broccoli. However, you can also accomplish this by squirting some lemon juice on top of your salad, eating your beans with some sauteed red bell peppers, or finishing off your meal with some fresh fruit. There are also some foods that can actually impede the absorption of iron, and the most well-known of those is cow's milk. There's 3 ways that cow's milk does this. First of all, cow's milk is actually very low in iron, and when a child consumes a lot of cow's milk and dairy products, they actually displace other foods that have more iron in them. The second is that cow's milk may actually cause inflammation in the intestines, which leads to microscopic bleeding. And anytime we lose blood, we also lose iron along with it. The final way is that cow's milk actually contains calcium and casein, and both of these nutrients actually compete with the absorption of iron. So they block iron absorption. And so when children consume a lot of dairy, they're absorbing less iron. For children less than 1, I recommend that they don't consume any cow's milk or dairy products. For older children, if you choose to allow them to have dairy, please limit it to no more than 2 servings per day. For adults, there are also a few foods that may actually impede iron absorption, and those are tea, coffee, and calcium supplements. If you are an adult on a plant-based diet and you are having trouble with your iron levels, then I recommend that you do not consume these foods along with your meal, and probably around 2 hours within having that meal. For those of you that may need even more iron in your diet for whatever reason, there are 3 other tricks that you can use. The first is using a cast iron skillet to cook your food. The second is to purchase an iron fish. This is a cast iron fish that you use in your pot to cook your soups, your stews, and your grains. And finally is to consume a couple of tablespoons of black strap molasses twice a day. The last one is probably the sweetest of all the different ways to increase the iron in your diet. Finally, it is important to remember that having an excessively high iron intake is not ideal. Especially consuming iron in the heme form from meat may be associated with increased diseases such as certain types of cancer and heart disease. And for boys and men, because they do not menstruate, iron overload is possible. Thank you for the questions, and please keep them coming. I look forward to seeing you again on VeggieFitKids.com. Have a great day.